welcome to the world of the snuggle space. That is where you begin to move to deeper intimacy. Does that make sense? The pickup artist will tell you to do this as quickly as possible. Why? Because they're trying to time distort the natural process, which actually slows it down. Doesn't the sequence look familiar? Right? I approach, I get banter, right? I touch when as soon as possible. I try to segment, I move her away from her friends, right? I try to get her by herself, some other part, change venue. They like to talk about that. Yes or no? Please. Right. What are we doing? I'm closing her off from the rest of the world. I'm trying to force the process. I'm here to tell you right now that if you pay attention to the cues and work with the process, you'll get there faster. You'll get there faster. Okay?
It just something that you're saying is like the F is flat. And like for me, this is like after I already go pick up stuff.
What do you mean?
I mean, which is, never mind after
this. Okay, all right. Now, can you think of a more nerve-wracking place to be than in front of a camera? 15 people you've never met, going through a dating process and actually feeling intimacy with somebody? I mean, I don't think aside from, maybe vomiting on her, I don't think it gets to be much more challenging than teasing. Right? But my point is this. She's having legitimate, are you having legitimate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Why? Because everything is in line. Everything. And she knows she's being watched. Right? Nobody wants to be a blowdown as a demo subject. Right? It doesn't really matter whether you're a guy doing this to a woman or a woman doing this to a guy. The cues are there. Right? It's just, guys, we have a little bit of a different starting process. The problem that most women have with guys is we go too damn fast. Which is ironic considering what I'm teaching here. But I'm going at her speed, which is always the right speed.
It feels like we're watching a really good romantic comedy. Like, I'm like into it. It's a good chick hook up there. It feels like a good pacing for me. Like, I'm going to have sex.
Yeah.
Hurry, the spinal space.
You know what's coming, right? Okay. It's like, go for the kiss. Go.
I think she keeps forgetting that's not a
snuggle space. Very important, but it's one of the key areas in the mating process that the man must take charge.
That's only stage 4.
Okay. To the degree that you've matched the cues, she'll fill the space. If she doesn't, go back to stage 3. Pull back. Banter some more, and wait. That's it. Because you missed something. Right? Don't try to manipulate the situation. Have fun, be playful, talk about stuff that she's passionate about. By this time, you're probably in level 3 questions, by the way. Remember, all this is happening while you're going through 3 magic questions. Okay? So you're you're engaged in a conversation, and then there'll be these subtle cues going on. And the nice thing is you can have a total brain fart, pardon my French, and all of a sudden you look down, you notice your glasses are right next to each other. You didn't catch it, but all of a sudden you notice your glasses significantly moved from where it was. That's a sign that you're doing well, keep going. Right? If you notice your stuff is suddenly a lot closer to you than it was before and you don't know how it got there, congratulations. Okay? You may not even, you'll probably notice if she touches you, because you're desperate for that. Right? But if you're not, if you know you have this, you know there's some level of attraction. It's just a matter of time.
Danny, I have a question for you. My problem is people always misunderstand me.
Misunderstand you?
Yeah, because I think, well, maybe we always misunderstand. I'm not interested in somebody. They think maybe I am.
Maybe they're just hoping.
Because I smile even to the wall, you know. Because I smile because I'm a pretty person. I want the whole world to be happy. That's my personality. Not necessary. But sometimes people misunderstand. And also because I'm too nice, they get proud. For nothing, they get proud. I don't like this person get proud. They think, I love him, I don't like him. That's my biggest problem.
You need to work on boundaries and setting them.
So don't smile?
No, not at all. I would smile a lot. But honestly, Miss Linda, right?
Yes.
You're a very attractive woman. You're going to get a lot of guys.
I'm very fat man.
Here's the bottom line. You'll get approached a lot. And guys do not have a lot of social adeptness, especially if they're in a deep trance, which most beautiful women put guys right into the worst possible trance, because they start thinking with the lower cockpit. Okay? So one of the things that you need to do is you need to start working on body language and being very direct. And I know you're Chinese, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my wife's Chinese.
Really?
Yes. And one of the things you need to work on is, from Chinese perspective, being impolite and being direct. Chinese culture is very indirect. It's very, very big on protocols and not making somebody, or giving the appearance of being angry. And so sometimes that can be construed as acquiescence to an advance, even though they're just being polite. Okay? So the things I was telling these ladies about what to say and ways to end an interaction, those are doubly important for you. Okay? You can be a nice person and still say no. In fact, you're being more nice by saying and being very direct with no. You know, sometimes you can really put people off by asking them their intentions. So, I'm getting a feeling like you want to date me or something. Is that true?
They don't say that. I think they feel that way.
Well, here's my point. Is put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Because the minute you ask, but you soften it. Now I'm getting off the beaten track just for a benefit. But one of the things you want to do is most guys they're doing the same thing that women are trying to do in many cases. They're looking for plausible deniability. All right. It's like most guys when they're going to ask a woman out, they'll find one that's in line with the men's restroom. So they walk up and they ask to dance, and the girl shoots her down, and you just keep walking into the bathroom, and it looks like that's what they intended all along. Right? So one of the things you want to do is you want to ask what somebody's intentions are. Ask them questions, and because what happens if you bring it up directly, that changes the whole dynamic of the interaction. Okay? If you keep acquiescing and keep trying to be polite, then they're going to keep taking your lack of resistance as acquiescence, and it's okay to keep going. When you've got to decide what your boundary is, and when they've reached that point, hold your boundaries. Okay? Now, I'll bet you don't smile a lot because you get approached a lot. A lot of people come up to you and talk to you, don't they?
No.
How many is not many? How many times have you...
Used to when I sit, I think before I moved to US,
Oh, okay.
I think many people in one day, but I'm so fat now, I don't think people let me anymore.
I have a class for that. Anyway, we'll work more on that, but I want to keep on topic for these guys, because now we're into the critical stages. The snuggle space is important, but it's one of the few spaces where the guy has to take the lead. Right? Next stage is called minor synchronization. This is cool, because all the while, we've been doing this, right? Our proximity, maybe not our orientation, but our proximity has been getting more and more intimate, becoming more and more one person. Now it's going to start to do this. Now we're going to start to orient. Mm-hmm. This is where you'll start to see more in-depth touching, more closeness. Okay? This is minor synchronization. Okay? It's a really cool place to be. Right? You can still blow it. Alright? But it gets kind of, at this point you're almost there. Okay? Let me give you a few notes on the minor synchronization. Again, she's going to touch, right? This is another one of those places, pardon my French yet again, where guys, you're going to want to go for boobs. Okay? It's still inappropriate areas to touch. Remember, you're in a public place, even though you created this personal space, this universe that's just the two of us, right? She's got huge pupil dilation. She's really in there. And that's cool. Okay? Because now that's where we can start to look at eye contact. Because the bigger her pupils get, the more attractive she becomes. Okay? When she's got them, you got them. Okay? The minute, I wish we had time to break up into groups and practice this, but the truth of the matter is at this phase, I can really start to focus on your eyes. I can look at you longer in the eyes without looking creepy. And I should actually, as I'm going through this whole process, I should be maintaining more and more eye contact. Because now what I'm doing, in addition to talking about all the things that are passionate and important to you, where you grew up, who are your friends, what did you play at, all that other good stuff, I'm creating that neurological intimacy, but now I'm engaging your pupil dilation. The more attracted to you a person becomes, the larger their pupils get. The more somebody likes something that they're looking at, the bigger their pupils get. They can't fake it. The only secret to this is that you must get a baseline at the beginning of the interaction. In other words, when I look at you for the first time, I'm going to look at how big your pupils are. And I'm going to look for changes as we continue to talk. Now, you notice what my voice is doing? I can get away with that because we're in a quiet environment, right? If the environment you're in is not conducive to that, speak louder, don't get closer. Okay? Like if you're in a club environment. Speak louder, don't close the distance prematurely. Right? Now, in a club environment, you can have an excuse to get closer, right? It's a little bit more permissible. You have to gauge what you're doing based on the environment, right? But these are the things that we're looking for. We're matching her cues. She's leading the dance, except at key points. Because she needs to know, not consciously, but unconsciously, at the deepest part of her, that we're together. We're in sync. We're connected. How many times does she just brush her hair?
Sharon not even had kids to get movie.
Now, the cool thing, at this point, we're really, we're in that zone, right? And now at some point, there will be a full shift. Now we're in this place, right? And it's perfect. I'm touching her knee. She's not batting an eye. Why? Because it's okay. I have her permission to be here. I've done the right thing, right?
Absolutely.
This is where you go for your kiss. If you want to kiss. This is where I kiss her. By this time, you're probably holding her hand or something very, of more. By this point, by the time you reach snuggle space, she's basically said, okay, I'm with him. She's chosen you. Prior to that, she hasn't chosen anything. You're still running the race, right? But just because you're winning the race doesn't mean you're going to take home the prize, unless you finish doing the process. This is the reaching and touching and snuggle space is where most guys lose it, because they try to go for the kiss at the touching stage or at the reaching stage. Not the reaching stage. I'm sorry. I taught this a million times, and I still forget the steps. The snuggle space and the touch. That's where the most of this process goes out the window. Okay? If you understand those are the key places. The snuggle space, full synchronization. We're now our meridians are all lined up. Like a my root chakra, my sex chakra, her sex chakra, my heart chakra, her heart chakra. All the chakras align here. Okay? If you want to get into energetics or whatever, this is now where two hearts beating is one, so to speak. Literally, metaphorically. Okay? And it's okay to go to the next level. Give this lady a big round of applause. Is that fun?
That was more fun. She did not want to like that. Oh my. Yeah. Holy.
Lights? Want to take a guess what she does for a living? Marriage and family therapist. Didn't know that at the time. What'd you learn? It's fucking dangerous.
Yeah, you have a very brave wife.
Where'd I put my mouse? There it is. So, there are 7 stages to the mating dance that take you from stranger to intimacy. 5 of them, the woman's leading the dance. 2 of them are critical. The man must do something. He must take an action. He must step up and demonstrate that he is a socially adept, aware male who knows how to respond appropriately. Those 2 stages are the touching stage and the snuggle space. Okay? This is what you want to look for tonight. When you go out to places like restaurants and bars and nightclubs, look at people's orientations. Look at what stage of the mating dance they're in and recognize it. Speed read it. Notice how prevalent it is. Okay? You have the world's largest laboratory to go out and play with. Okay? When we start playing with 3 magic questions and going through opinion openers and things of that nature, these behaviors are going to come out. Now, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have to open. You're going to have to generate some attention and some interest in you. Then you're going to generate comfort. You're going to move them to a location where you can begin this process. It may happen while you're standing in your groups. It may happen at the bar. It may happen anywhere. But any place that you can move to that you can facilitate not having to shout, being more comfortable, having their undivided attention, you're going to move this along faster. Okay? But again, it's all about paying attention to the timing of your target. Right? Ladies, this is going to be frustrating for you. Because as you go out and meet guys, they don't have this training. So you're going to be waiting for them to like read the cues, and they're not going to get them. Why? Because you're special now. Right? So it can be frustrating because, like I said, one of the beautiful things about 3 magic questions is that it causes people to simultaneously become more attracted to you while giving you tons of information that allows you to qualify them into a specific category. The hell knows, the friend zone, the friends with benefit zone, or the life mate zone. Right? And so what's going to happen is, even though you're going to be generating huge amounts of attraction in the majority of men that you meet, you will probably be disqualifying most of them. By definition. Right? It's a number, right? The whole point is, you're always testing. Even the mating dance is nothing but a test. You want to slow this process down? Miss a cue. All I did was pay attention to when the cues and did it back. I matched her checklist. Everybody has them. Does that make sense? Okay, let's take a 10-minute break. Yes, William?
You're saying, yeah, you're instructing the men here to match her cues. If she rushes, you brush her back correctly in the same manner, in the same place. Yeah. But for us when we're going out there, those guys aren't going to know that. They're going to be obtuse, basically. So what is your recommendation?
Screen for guys who actually follow your cues.
Okay, so that's the screen.
Because now you know what you're looking for, right? There's only 2, remember, you're in charge of the dance. If the man is worthy of you, when you give a cue, they'll know what to do. If they're not, they won't follow it. Right? Right? Now be patient because this is, again, you're learning in a very clean, very precise manner what the algorithm is. Some guys take a little bit longer to catch on. So be a little bit merciful in that, but have your standards, you have your benchmarks that you're going for. You, when you're doing this process, will be more focused on 3 magic questions, the actual dialogue and interview process, because what will happen is as they satisfy your criteria conversationally, your unconscious mind will generate these body language stages. As you start to feel more connected and more trusting of that person, you'll automatically engage in this. But what's in your benefit is you've got them talking so much about themselves that you know right away if this is someone that goes to the hell no box, the friend zone, the friends with benefit zone, or the, let's get married zone, right? Or the intimate partner zone. So we're looking at 2 different areas right now, right? Yes?
What are the 3 magic questions?
We're getting into that. Okay? Then 3 magic questions is a code for 3 categories of question. Each one has a very specific function. There's many, many questions that can fit in each category, so you have complete freedom to generate those in whatever way you want. But there's a very specific reason for the questions the way they're asked. For those of you who come from a pickup background, the closest thing you can think about level 1 questions is opinion openers. Right? You're going in and you're asking opinion. But they're always superficial questions. What are the drink specials? What do you think of the band? Is that your laptop? Right? What brought you guys here? It's very superficial. It has one purpose and one purpose only, to get them out of their head and in real time present with you. That's the only, and set the stage for echoing, asking, echoing, and valuing. And then at some point you're going to drill down to level 2, which is where most of the magic happens. Okay? And that's where you make the decision. You come to a decision in a relatively short period of time. It can be 20 minutes from 1 to 3, and you're ready to go. Or it can be 3 or 4 hours and you're just having the best time ever. But within that process, you're going to know very, very quickly, what level of a relationship do I want with this person, right? But you have to have really good state control. Because when you do this with a man, his sexual desire is going to go up. If you do this as a woman doing this, your emotional desire, your emotional attraction to that person is going to go up. And so you have to rein it in. You have to be in control of your state. Otherwise, you're going to wind up dating people with potential rather than people who are actualizing their potential. You guys are not in the potential business anymore. If they're not living that life, they're out, right? Always be, you are the, bingo. Break time, go.